So, hello everyone who's listening. I'm here with one of my clients, Dustin, today, just to get his thoughts on the program and to see how the program has affected things. So, I suppose first of all, Dustin, just a quick introduction of yourself and where you're from, who you are, a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, name's Dustin. I am from Alberta, Canada. Um, work in construction, earthworks. Have a couple of other businesses on the go. One that has started since dealing with my alcohol problem. Yeah, 39 years old, and
Love hockey.
what and I
I
love
love
hockey.
hockey.
Yeah, yeah. There's that.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, mate. And I just wanted to ask you, you mentioned alcohol there, and for a lot of people listening, it'll be the exact same, Dustin. What was your habits with alcohol, mate, and what was it sort of stopping you achieving? What was the effects of that in your on your life?
Um, So I guess it's with how long it's been since my end date, Liam. It's almost hard to. I don't want to say hard to remember, but
Hmm.
it's getting more faint. What that was like.
Hmm.
At the start, it was real clear. I do remember that, but I was in a repetitive cycle of daily drinking, and it was just I was stagnant. I was at a yes, complete standstill. No progression. I was functioning highly in
Hmm.
what I was doing. Still, I was still coaching hockey. I was managing large projects and working with clients, and but I was never moving forward. It was just stuck um, in this destructive habit of making things happen or things not happening and celebrating or coping with it
Hmm.
at the end of the day or
And
sometimes in the middle of the day to start.
hmm and I remember it, Dustin. I remember you saying something specifically. Daydreaming was the word you used. I don't know if you remember using that word. Like it was almost like a lot of yeah. I suppose that's what the stagnation is, isn't it? Really, it's like the
Yeah.
daydreaming. They just sort of like um. I don't know. It's a tough one to actually describe in words, but I remember mentioning the word daydreaming, linked to that, mate. That it was sort of like all these things you want to do, but
You
it's
could
just
picture
like,
them all and it just
hmm.
never commit. I could have goals and and almost plan things out and just never take that next step.
Hmm.
And
And
um,
that's a problem I think. Well, it's an issue a lot of people who will be listening to this have as well, mate. Okay, so here's a question for you then, mate. What were your, and I know it's, because we've just talked, mate. You are coming up on, you are, sorry, what, you're under a month away from a year without a drink,
yeah,
right? Which is
yeah,
fantastic. And obviously, by the way, I understand the faintness comment because I have to, and because this is what I do, I talk about alcohol quite a lot because a lot of people I work with are drinkers. It reminds me, but I understand what you mean by the faintness, right? I really do. It's almost like this is the new normal. Like this is just normal now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I completely understand that. What would you say, and if you can remember this, what would you say your initial, or what were your thoughts on, or thoughts or any surprises in the program, mate, while you were working with me? Can you think back to any of that, or how did you find it?
Uh, I want to say it was easier than I expected,
Yeah. Hmm.
honestly. And I know we talked about that at while we were meeting, and
Hmm.
you literally would just ask, is it easier than you thought? And I think it's easier than I thought because I had the support. Not
Hmm.
if I don't think I could have been just a cold turkey guy on my own,
Hmm.
shut it down. No, it was easy because I knew once a week I'd be talking to you and I had to be accountable to you and myself. Like
Hmm.
it's
Yeah, it certainly helps make the accountability in that aspect. But it's funny. The easier than you thought. You almost build it, and I'm not telling anyone listen. I'm not saying it's easy for everyone, right? There's
Yeah,
easy. It's a very hard term. You can't put black. It's not black and white, right?
yeah,
However, I think once you're through it, you think it's easier than it's going to be. You can almost build it up to be this sort of you can build it up to be this, you can wait years, like I get it, no judgment, I've been there. You can wait years to make a change to your life with habits and self-sabotage, drinking, procrastination, whatever it is, and build it up to be this sort of, build up to this sort of demon that's it's almost like it's impossible to conquer. And then, a few months down the line, you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't. And there's a few tough moments, don't get me wrong, for everyone.
yeah.
Any identity shift there's going to be, but it's always a little bit easier than people think, which is fantastic, Dustin. Amazing, mate. And
I know at the time I was worried like what the long term looked like. Are you always going to feel like you need alcohol? Like even though you're
mhm,
done, are you always? And it's pretty wild that you get past that. And um, like you said, it's a lifestyle shift, a personality shift, a whole. It's unreal how resilient the human brain and body is
mhm,
when the new normal, you know,
absolutely.
takes hold.
100%, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I know this is you're a good 11 months into your journey, mate, but what's changed for you? What specifically has changed for you? And I know there'll be a few areas there, mate, but what did getting out of this sort of cycle help do for you in your professional and personal life, mate?
Well, it's amazing what's happened in the last 11 months between committing to starting a new business with a friend partner, um, working on my existing business and my job. I wear a lot of hats,
Hmm.
and my ability to, you know, do all of those things. Not that I wasn't doing them before. Again, I said, I did well in my job. I think I'm doing better in my job and
Hmm.
able to manage stress and just workload so much easier. Not getting overwhelmed with things and putting things off. I'm very in the last 11 months. I've uh, grabbed the bull by the horns, as they say, and
Yeah.
directed where I want it to go.
Hmm.
Number two, health. I've lost 30 pounds roughly. It's kind of leveled off there, and I look at myself. I'm like, where was I carrying that?
Yeah.
It was literally everywhere. When you spread it out over an entire body, of course, the big one is in the belly, but it's
Yeah.
when you start to look at it, it's like, it was here, it was here, it was here, it's in your legs, it's ever. It doesn't take much to have be carrying 30 pounds around, I guess.
No,
And
not at
I am
all.
getting I'm getting a lot of people have noticed that, and
Fantastic.
that surprises me. I'm really yeah, really
Fantastic, Dustin.
surprised by that.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I remember at the time, like even the difference. It's weird because I've even still got a mental picture in my head of our first few calls, and that, like, as I said to you today, like when you come on, like, yeah, you're looking well, and it's crazy. Even I can notice the difference, mate. Even though it's been a long time since that first call. Uh,
Yeah.
that's perfect. And another one for people watching as well. How's life improved personally, mate? From a relationships, family point of view, mate. Have you noticed changes with in that sort of arena as well?
I've always been very engaged with my family. Like I've coached sports and involvement in associations in town and stuff like that. Agricultural society and different functions and stuff in that are going on in the community. But I am more present in those as well.
Yeah.
Um, I used to do everything with a drink in hand too. You know,
Hmm.
with if I was at home working in the shop or doing, you know, coaching or something in the shop, you know, working on stick handling, for example, I'd have a drink in my hand,
Hmm.
and that takes away. You know, you might I might have been present, but I wasn't all there,
Hmm.
and my kids can notice, you know, that dad is he's more present. He's you know, I was never like an angry drunk or anything like that, to just be
No, no.
blunt. Like,
Hmm.
so it's not like I was ever uh, a bad dad or anything like
Hmm.
that. So I wouldn't say not much has changed there, except the actual level of engagement and um, mentally present in pretty
100%.
much everything you do.
That's one thing I can say that, like, obviously I've not um, got kids yet, but one thing I would say is like just even in talking about relationships in my life, family, friends, like it makes a big difference having a conversation or even being in a moment and remembering it and being fully. It's
Hmm.
like you are there
Yeah,
when you're drinking, but it's you're not fully there, mate. Especially if you know you're 5 or 6 beers deep, you're there, but it's
yeah.
you're not fully there. But that's absolutely amazing, Dustin. And here's a little bit of a different question for you. Has you has this changed? Affected your maybe confidence or outlook in the future, mate? I don't know. Is that something that you've considered?
Confidence in the future and like what I might want to do
Yeah,
or
and
set
chances
goals.
of getting there as well.
It's
Because I know, remember before it was, the daydreaming thing. It was a little bit of because this is what people don't understand. Like people think there's procrastination and there's bad habits, but they're basically the same thing. I mean, drinking,
yeah.
whether that's be people who I'm speaking to are drinking or smoking or smoking weed, or all these different things. It's like they are procrastination, mate, and they rip the
Hmm.
motivation straight out of you. It's as if you know what you
Yeah.
want up here logically, but subconsciously there's no like move towards the goal. There's no
Yeah.
action. So yeah, yeah. Do you feel like it's changed your outlook on the future in that respect, mate?
Absolutely. And I don't want to say I've replaced alcohol with, you know, goals and other, but in a sense, yes. It's
Uh-huh.
like, well, now I have this extra brain capacity. I have this extra motivation. I have this extra time. And yeah, it's I don't have as much fear per se if things don't work out too.
Yes, that's 100% right.
Um, I feel like I can manage that
Hmm.
now. I think that might be part of the fear while procrastinating, while drinking, is like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? And um, I don't know. Yeah, I think there's more confidence.
Hmm.
So, um, am I answering the question?
No, yeah, no, yeah. No, I was wondering, and it's you've kind of touched on it. You 100% are, Dustin.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's just a different sort of like this is something that's been the word. Now, I'm going to say by at least not, I don't even know the number. The word fearless comes up, and it's not like you're fearless, but it's almost like the thing is, see if you're self-sabotaging and you do something and it fails, right? I think part of you knows that you haven't fully committed to it, right? And I think
hmm,
well, this is just my opinion, mate, and I don't know your thoughts. I feel like if I commit to something and I know that I'm not self-sabotaging, I'm not drinking, I'm not going in half and you know what, if something doesn't work out, at least I can say that I gave it my all and
yeah,
in failure or victory, right, for lack of a better word, it doesn't matter as long as like you have gave it everything. And I think you've got a fear to try while you're self-sabotaging because you
yeah,
think you know deep down that you're not going to give it your all, and if it fails
yeah,
it will be because you haven't
yeah,
tried, not for
yeah,
any other reasons, mate. So I hope that makes sense, but just something I've
yeah,
been thinking
yeah.
a lot about recently.
It's you don't just accept the easy road. I think while drinking, I just accepted that it was, and maybe it was a means of coping with taking the easy road too, and
Yes.
just like, yeah, this is things are, you know, this is good enough, or and now there's the goals are beyond good enough.
Mhm. Absolutely.
It's what's next, and I'm excited to aim for it, and
And you've got the motivation as
yeah,
well,
do
because
more, do
if there's one
more. Yeah.
if there's one thing that I'll drinking or self-sabotage does is sap the motivation out of any. You
Yeah.
think I want that, but am I willing to put in the effort to get it? Probably not because
Yeah.
of the cycle. But that's brilliant, Dustin, and I really appreciate that, and I think a lot of people are going to relate to all of that, mate. I really do, and just last a little sort of plug from me, and would say like if anyone is listening. Would you recommend the program to other business owners that are self-sabotaging, whether that's procrastination, drinking, what anything, mate? What would your thoughts be on anyone that is listening? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would recommend, like you said, whether it's for because all of those things kind of boil down to the same
They do.
root, don't they?
Yeah,
They
100%.
so whether you're drinking or smoking or doing drugs or just need life coach to help you boost your confidence and take the next step in your life. I know you and I have chatted about this previously
Hmm.
that yeah, you may not even have a substance abuse problem and just need someone outside of your regular circle, someone that has the experience with that self-sabotage mentality to get past it.
Hmm.
And yeah, so 100% would recommend it. I wouldn't be where I am 11 and a bit months down the road had I not bumped into you and made the commitment to do this.
And I'm
I know
glad
I
you've done it for yourself, mate.
yeah.
I appreciate that. But again, I'll say it again. I've said this to you before. It's you that has made the decision to do it, mate. Because taking the step to even think about committing is the hardest part to me. And I don't know if you look back on it like that. Like you probably going, okay, let's do this is probably the hardest part of the whole process. To actually commit to the
Yep.
change rather than, a New Year's just been made. I know a lot of people are the New Year's resolution stuff comes up. It wasn't like that. It was like, I'm actually doing this for myself. So
Mm-hmm.
give yourself
Yeah.
immense credit to Dustin. And
Yeah.
thank you very much for the chat.